All right, so got the blue Mach 1 ready to trade out for the blue Bullitt. Wanted to take it down and do an oil change on it. I've actually not changed the oil since I've owned it, since I bought it back. It's been a couple of years now, actually, but the previous owner had just changed the oil, and all I did was drive it home from northern Utah and then around town a little bit, like probably not even 1,000 miles, but I just wanted to go ahead and change the oil, so didn't have the battery in it, so I was going to trade it out for the blue Mach 1. The car sits a lot, so I don't really care to not have a battery for it right now. I have the core, so all I need to do is go, get one when I need it and when I feel like buying it. But at this point, especially with winter approaching, it's really not necessary to have a battery for the car that's just going to sit in the cold. So got that all taken care of, swapped out the cars. All right, so I have a new Ford Motorcraft filter for the car, and I have 12 quarts here. I'm not going to put them all in, obviously, but the Bullitt does have a deep sump MMR oil pan, so that's technically a 7-quart oil pan, and I usually put in about 8 quarts, 8.5 quarts. So oil came out really clean. I looked through it with a flashlight and everything. I didn't see any metal at all. It looked really good. And I also have a magnetic drain plug, and it gets a little bit of black gunk on the tip of it, so if there is anything in there, it catches it. So oil looked really good. I'm very happy with it. I used this moldable plastic cutting board, and use it to stuff up here in the K member so it doesn't get too dirty. Check the mileage. Do not start the car without oil in it. It's just checking the mileage. I wrote it here on the oil filter with the date that I did the change so that I know. And I can just look under there if I forget or watch this video. Went to my brother's house and got a rubber O-ring. I've just got these at the parts store before, and I didn't think to go get one or have the right size. And my brother was nice enough to let me come raid his O-ring stockpile here in this little kit. It's really nice living a block and a half away from him. I can just go down there all the time, and he's been so helpful lately. So this is the one I used. I don't know if it'd be the same for anybody else. This oil pan bolts aftermarket, it was the 111 or whatever. So anyway, added the oil. Now this is a 7-quart oil pan, is what MMR advertised it as. My friend had the same one on his Kenny Bell GT, and he would put up to 10 quarts in it. And I didn't want to run that much. I know I've run somewhere in the 8 to 9 range before, so I filled the oil filter and then I put in 8 quarts, and that was a lot. I think it's right at the top, so pretty good. Probably on the high end, you know, it's just at the very top of the dipstick, a little bit past, so it's probably okay, but I didn't want to do more than that, and so I was going to put that much in and check it. So I pulled the car out into the street. There was a little bit of oil that got on the steering rack, so I wanted to clean it off and just do that in the street and clean up a little bit of oil spilled in the garage on the floor. But I thought, man, this Bullitt looks so good on the street view. I wanted to come show it a little bit. It's just so nice to look at. It looked really good from where it was. It was just parked perfectly. Love that. It was like the perfect distance from the garage to the street to get a good look at the car, so I just came out here and showed it a little bit. And then when I was underneath the car, I jacked up the front and I was cleaning up the little bit of oil that spilled, and I noticed that the K-member was kind of dirty and the inner wheel wells there in the strut towers and the shock tower area was kind of dirty. So I just said, I'm just going to take these wheels off and clean it. Now, this car has had undercoating applied to it when it was brand new in northern Utah. So that was nice of them to do it. But you can see it's kind of like, almost like Line-X, you know, it's kind of, and it's flaking off a little bit, which is fine. It's done its job. The car was in Las Vegas its whole life, Henderson. After that, it was only in northern Utah for like a couple of years, and so that undercoating did a good job in northern Utah. I don't know if it was even driven in the snow up there, but you can see how nice it is underneath there with underneath the undercoating. So I might just get that all off later. Hear that pressure washer down the street? You're about not to. That was just a little joke because the neighbor down the street was using his pressure washer, and I thought that might show up on my video, but that's okay because the Bullitt's going to drown that noise out. sounded so nice, I just wanted to record a little bit of it driving around. Nothing crazy, you know, just show what the car sounds like rumbling around, looking at the beautiful True Blue as I was putting gas in the car and looking at the nice fuel door. Looked really good. So anyway, that's about it. We'll do a little more driving here at the end of the video, but I just wanted to do a little update on the Bullitt and show the oil change. And you know, I was going to do that, and I drove it real quick down the street to my brother's house, and then I thought, well, the engine's warm, the oil's warm, it's time to change the oil, might as well just go ahead and do it. So I did it a little sooner than I was planning on. You know, you get the engine warm and it helps get the contaminants in the oil all floating in the oil, and then you can drain it out. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more Mustang content.